Test 1, 2. Okay, I think. Ah, man. Stream hasn't even started yet. We're already scuffed. Let's go back to the scene. Actually, I gotta make sure that everything is still up, and it is not. One moment. And I think we're close to good. Okay. I gotta fix that. Good morning, chat. My name is Penbu, programming, puzzle gaming, and music making VTuber on Linux, and today we are talking about music and then also doing music later. Sorry for the scuff and late. I had to go out and grab something, because I might be talking a lot today. And if you were here in the stream yesterday, I'd mentioned that I ran out of lozenges, and so I made sure to get some today. Yeah, and then OBS happened. It happens sometimes. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to be talking about the flights of the HMS Luminary, and then also continuing our arrangement of Luminary itself. For those who haven't seen the flight yet, we launched Jelly Hoshiumi into space. Technically not space, because it's a little bit under, a little bit below the line that's considered the edge of space, but close enough. I won't be going through the entire video, so if you'd like to watch the whole thing yourself, there's the flight. But we'll be going through some of the important moments. And YouTube is telling me that it's not getting enough stuff. Okay, well, let me have a look at this. Current bitrate is lower than recommended. It's probably fine. It is a little bit off. We'll make do. YouTube, let me know if there's going to be any issues with that, or if there are any issues with that. But otherwise, I think first, to establish context, we will have a look at Luminary. And just play through the whole song, because this is going to be important for context, not only for HMS Luminary, because that's what it was inspired by, but also for the arrangement that we're making of Luminary. So let's go ahead and do that.
Smiling for a crowd. Oh, how I wish I
Well, that was Luminary by Jelly Hoshiumi. That was her debut song. If you like, go listen to that. That is over here. That is the context that we need for today, because as I said, Flight of the HMS Luminary was heavily inspired by that, and also we are arranging that song. Very good song. Now I'm gonna bring out the flight. I'm gonna skip through some of the stuff here. So originally I was tasked with actually I'm gonna bring up something else first. I was tasked with making remaking the Star Trek intro um for this because they wanted to use the space theme and the Star Trek intro, but they wanted to avoid any potential copyright issues. Um so they approached me to remake the first 50 seconds of this. But perhaps a little bit more jelly theme. So I'm gonna play the Star Trek intro first as context, and then we'll see how I turned it into how I jellified it. And then that's the first 50 seconds. So if we dissect that, then you hear that there's basically two parts to this. One is the build up, I guess, or the lead in, where there's a bunch of space sounds and high violins, and then this hand flute is what I figured this was. It's very airy, high pitched instruments, and a little bit more of that. All right, and then at this point, the brass comes in. I figured this was probably a French horn, and then those are trumpets, and then they play off each other in a build-up, and then they play together, and then it goes to the main theme. And so we take that, and this is what I came up with here. And so for us, that was going to be leading into Luminary, the instrumental for Luminary. So this is what I came up with. Taking those elements there, right? You have the pan flute, you have the French horn, the trumpets. Sorry, they don't call it French. The horn and the trumpets, and then to give the background. Sorry, we had the violins. So I have these an octave apart. And then also a glass harmonica, which I can actually show you here on Wikipedia. Once this thing loads. So it's one of these things. You this little thing here rotates, and you get your fingers wet, and it's basically what is it? Automated. How should I say it? Automated. So when you words, do you know the thing where you put your finger along the edge of a glass like that, and it makes a sound? I'm sure you've probably seen that. This is the same thing, just automated, where instead of your finger moving, it's the glass moving, and then you just put your wet fingers across the edge here. And so it makes this kind of sound here. Well, maybe not quite that. If you ever seen me bow a glockenspiel, it kind of sounds a little bit like that. Okay, YouTuber, are you still okay? Because it says that my bitrate is still fairly low. Hopefully things are okay over there. Not sure what's up. In any case, so I took that, and then the space sounds. I took the effect synthesizer. Now I have it panned so that we have a little bit on the left and then a little bit on the right as well. This is just the seashore effect, because for some reason MIDI has these various sound effects. So if you ever heard the gunshot, or bird chirp, seashore, fret noise, I should probably start using fret noises for effect in some places. But it does have that, so I figured I'd use that here because it sounds pretty close to what the original had. And then this is where I diverged a little bit. Where I took the theme of Luminary, but applied it to the structure of the original. So we have the horn coming in. Alright, the horn comes in first. And then the trumpet. And then they come in together. And then we go ahead and transition to Luminary. And of course, this part is a is a Luminary inspired theme. And that we actually get from if I can pull up Luminary here. I put it in here somewhere. Here it is. So this comes from, well, it's most easily heard at the end. This is the theme that she tends to use, or this is the theme that she uses in her her opening music. So that bit, took that theme, and moved it over here, or used it over here. And so we have the horn and the trumpet playing off each other like that. And the build up. And so what that looks like in here, in the actual flight, is this. Complete coincidence, by the way. When I was writing this, I didn't really have the Star Trek visuals in mind. This is the Star Trek intro visuals. I didn't really have that in mind. Or rather, I didn't have it in mind to line it up, but it happens to line up anyway. And that's a bit of a common theme for the rest of the music that's it's coming up soon too.
Space, the final frontier.
And so we got narration from Asher's. I had also mixed this in. Added a little bit of what was it? Bit crushing actually, just to make it sound less high quality. Because it I felt like it was too clean before I added the bit crushing, and then I added it, and it's better. So it's an odd case of less quality actually sounding better than more quality. Why's my bitrate so low? I don't understand.
These are the voyages of the HMS Luminary. Her continuing mission to explore strange new content, to seek out new friends and new experiences, to boldly Awawa where no alien has gone before.
And so here we have a little bit of spoiler here. This is actually HMS Luminary 1. There were 2 that were launched. The one that actually survived was the second one. Go back a little bit. This here is a tank of helium. And this is the balloon that went up, that actually carries the weather balloon up, or the payload up, rather.
To boldly Awawa where no alien has gone before.
And so that was a transition from what I had called Luminous Frontier, of course, because Star Trek and Frontier and all that. So that was a transition from Luminous Frontier until Luminary, and then it just plays the entirety of Luminary until she gets up to pretty high. This is a pretty iconic shot here, where the sun gets eclipsed by the plush, the Jumo. Very good. And so, I don't know if we intended for this to be the case, but having the song end like that, where it's all very light and airy and high up, makes sense for it's very fitting for where the Jumo is now, like very high up. And barely any wind sound this high. So I was also, because I did the rest of the music, I was also had to decide where to put the music. And so because we were focusing on the lack of wind sound here, it made sense to not have anything until we've had enough of that. Actually, before that, I think the next one is going to come in soon. So I'm going to switch over to this. No, we're going to switch over to this. And go to the same spot. That's 404. And then this is what I had seen before I started working on the other tracks. Because originally, like I said, I was only asked to do the intro bit and then mix it into Luminary, and that was it. And so I saw this. This was a draft, and well, it felt kind of empty. Right? You listen to this. You're gonna be listening to this for the next 4.5 minutes ish. Right? No music, no nothing. I mean, when it falls, you get a lot of wind noise, but other than that, it's very plain, right? You kind of just have to have something here. And so, as you notice, the Jumo is floating in the air very slowly, very leisurely. And so I took that into account when making the next track, which I called "Don't Look Away," after a line in the song, but the line doesn't actually appear in. No, hold up. Is that "Don't Look Away"? Yeah, no, "Don't Look Away." Yeah. The line doesn't actually appear in that segment, but Right, you have something slow, you have something light, you have the earth below, and then solitary. Jelly here is alone, nothing else around. And so I figured that could translate very well into a piano bit. And so I'm going to play it with the audio now. And there's the balloon pop. So I wanted to make sure that the music ends before the balloon pop, because you want it to be a little bit unexpected. Well, like for anyone who does this or who's seen a bunch of these before, you know that the balloon eventually has to pop because of the pressure imbalance. Um, it can't stop going up forever. It does eventually have to. It does eventually stay in equilibrium, and then at some point it pops because of science reasons. But the balloon does pop. And I wanted to make sure that when that happened, the music had already ended. And so you end up with a suspend. Well, it wasn't quite a suspension. So yeah, number two, don't look away. Uh, happens to fit all in one sheet. It's solo piano. And you end on, what is this? This is a C and this is an E. C sharp and an E. Yeah, just an E. Right, because this is in the key of E major. And C sharp is a minor, is the minor key, or the relative minor rather. So you are left with a bit of a resolution, but also not really. Also not really. I mean, kind of. But it's not. It's not as strong as if you were going to E major. So there are two sections to this one. One is the part inspired by the chorus, and then the other part inspired by the intro. So I actually changed this up so that uh, you don't get you don't get things following another thing that happens in the song. It's actually two separate parts of the song and smushed together here. And it does speed up, in part because I felt like the quarter notes lasted a little bit too long without it. But also because if I had kept it at the original tempo, which is 84, I think, yeah, 84, it wouldn't have ended before the balloon pops. So I had to make sure that we finished before then. Now, the astute among you would notice that actually doesn't appear in the song. Because the original song actually goes something like this. Hold up. Why is that not? This should go into here. Is this it? Okay. I will need to fix that at some point. Hoping you'll... Alright. Oh wait, that's what it was. So yeah, the original song actually goes like this. Whereas I go. So it's very similar, but it's not quite the same. But and I do this in one so that it's a little bit shortened, but also this is what kind of felt natural when trying to figure out what to play with this. And this is something you can do, right? It doesn't have to stick exactly to the song, as long as it sounds, as long as it takes the theme from the song and it kind of sounds similar to it. You can pretty much do whatever you want. And then you transition into the intro bit. Right. Trying to avoid the E until it actually happens. And then linger on this one for a little bit so that it isn't all the same thing, you know, keep things a little bit interesting. And then for a little bit of flair. So the original actually goes something like that. But we did have that theme where, or we have that going on in the rest of it, so it makes sense to continue doing that. So how do I make the sound light, airy, spacey? You make use of fourths and fifths, so perfect intervals. If you do it this way, it sounds very open, because it doesn't have the third to give it the extra depth, right? The extra resolution there. So this power chord, as they call it, is very open sounding. So if you're doing any space theme, one thing you can consider is doing open chords like these. So this would sound like how I play it. So on and so forth. This is the golden road progression, which is what the song mostly uses. Asher is welcome in. We're just talking about currently just going through the thoughts on "Don't Look Away," the second movement. So yeah, this uses golden road progression, which is what the original song uses for the most part. I think I stuck a little bit more closely to Golden Roads compared to what the song actually uses. But you know, you can make those kinds of chord substitutions. Oh yeah, Ashers, let me know if the quality on YouTube is bad, because YouTube is saying, actually OBS is telling me that I'm not sending my usual amount, and YouTube is complaining about that too. But hopefully it's at least acceptable. So yeah, so there's that, and then it's the balloon pops. All right, then we linger here for a while. Try to think it's fine. Don't trust my ears. Well, I think the audio is probably fine. It's the video that would probably suffer here. But as long as the audio is good, that's probably important. The most important part. But yeah. So anyway, the balloon pops. We wanted to let the viewer linger on here and take in, like react to it, take in that the balloon has popped and feel a sense of danger. Or especially with how chaotic this is. And then once things have settled down, you know, the parachute deploys, things are a little bit calmer. Then we're gonna start bringing in the music. And so I started to build up with some strings, and then I put in the "Don't Look Away" sound clip from the original song, as a sign that this is important, and that you should not look away from what's going on. And that was pretty easy to extract because Luminary does have an instrumental that lines up pretty well with the original. So all you have to do is take the instrumental, inverse the polarity, and then play it along with the original, and you get just the vocals. Nothing looks off. Maybe it's lower quality. Can't 100 tell. Still watchable only at 720p. Yeah, okay. As long as it's good at 720p, I think that's probably fine. Yeah, it was a good voice line user. Yeah, somebody on I looked at the comments and somebody did remark on that. Called it cinema. And I think it's pretty good. I'm gonna play that again. And so now that everything is under control, and there's a little bit more action, I wanted to make sure that we build up the music. All right, so the first the previous track had just solo piano, but now this has piano and strings. Let's put that over here. All right, so here's the build up from the start, and then once we've established that there is music, then we can go ahead and start actually playing stuff, and you can see these crescendos here. We have the strings built up. Yeah, to get a heightened sense of emotion here, especially with more action going on. Because as she starts falling, it starts getting faster. Now I slowed down there a little bit because there's going to be this transition into the next segment. Which there's actually going to be no music for a while, because if we look at the... Where did I put Kdenlive? Here it is. Oh, I just got to sneeze. Yeah. So, actually on the Don't Look Away thing, I actually tried it on a couple of different spots. One was before... Actually, we can go ahead and play that. See where it might fit. So we enable this clip again. All right, so this was one option. Try to... Is this gonna crash? Okay. Try to resize this so that you can see this better. So this is one option. So before the Don't Look Away track, the solo piano, which would have been okay, I think. And then I had the other option over here, is after the track. Before the balloon pop, but I felt having it here would be a little bit too busy, so I ended up putting it where it was where it is now, which I think works a lot better. And so you can see here in the waveform that something changes here and something changes here, and that's where the clips fade into each other, and we get some pretty rapid falling and a lot of wind noise. Switch over here. Right. With this noise, you don't really want music going on. You want the viewer to focus on the descent, on the fall, and how brutal it is to go down. And then it should be coming up soon. Once we've had a lot of that, we go into the next part. We can actually start the music. If you notice in the waveform here, I wanted to make sure that we line this up so that, well, one, I line it up so that the flash comes in, or the music comes in when the flash comes in. This is the sun, of course. Right, so that downbeat lines up with this flash of lights. And yeah, so the reason why I chose to do it at this point is because coming up next is a transition into something a little bit calmer. And so then we have the opportunity to reintroduce some music to break the monotony of the wind, but also as a bit of a triumphant line saying that she survived the trip. And that there was purely coincidental, but it worked out pretty well. Where you have the suspended symbol go on as the balloon covers and then uncovers the camera. And that was also coincidental. Most of the timing at this point was coincidental, but it lines up pretty well. So the hello world, this is me. Right when the balloon lifts off from the Jumo. Okay, so we'll break this down. All right, so in here, one of the ways you can make a very triumphant sound is to bring in brass. And I didn't want to reintroduce too much from what we had before. So the reason I was originally actually planning on potentially using the concert band arrangement that we've been working on. So I put that in as a placeholder, and it actually sounded not too bad. And then I was going to actually just continue doing that, but then I figured there's too many instruments. And I don't have time to do that. And so I just kept it to the horn and the trumpet that we had before. So it calls back to the first track where we had these two. And then, of course, we have the piano and violins that had come in previously. And then some extra percussion just to make things a little bit more, and give it that extra rhythm, the extra beat. So, of course, we have to have the suspended symbol. And of course, we have to have the crash symbol as well to give that extra color. And then triangle, which I think I had put. Did I put the triangle here? Yes, I did. So I had the triangle here. For those of you who weren't here last year, we had also done a project for Jelly's birthday where we all played instruments and sang, and one of the things that I played was the triangle, and she kind of made fun of my technique even though it's correct. But it's pretty funny, so I had to make sure I have a triangle in here. Yeah, and then we have the bass drum and the snare drum. This one was actually imported from the concert band arrangement, and uses lines that are pretty much exactly what was in the arrangement. And then the strings are mostly there to give a foundation, give a foundational chord. At least in this part, right? It's all just open, all whole notes. As well as the piano, because I want to give the brass the melody, right? I want to give the brass the time to shine here, because they're the ones who are going to make the sound triumphant. We just need something in the bass to give it that strong foundation, because we don't have lower brass in this instrumentation. Normally it would go to something like the tuba. We don't have that, so I'm giving it to the strings and the piano instead. And so melody passes over to the trumpets, right? So we have melody passing between the two instruments here. And then it goes to the trumpets with the horn playing the harmony. And then we have the crescendo here, which is actually a little bit unusual for me because I tend to prefer decrescendos, and it was originally going to be a decrescendo. But then I remembered what was happening in the first bit, in Luminous Frontier, and it actually had similar crescendos as well. Maybe the original Star Trek had the crescendo, so I tried doing that there. For a time, I felt like it was wrong, and now I've kind of come around to it. So it works. It works enough. But it also does help with the build-up, because until you get here, you want to try to, with the way that we have this here, you want to try to keep the build-up. And an easy way to do that is to make sure that you don't go quieter. All right, that's the high point. You want to make sure that energy is kept up until this point, and then you can start dissipating. Now we have a triangle solo. Or Don't Look Away. And then we start building up again. And now we get to the second part, which we'll switch to here. All right, so we'll pause there. So one of the things that we want to make sure we do here is keep the energy up, right? Because there's a lot of action going on. You want to keep spirits high, And so that was the thought process behind this one. You have the drum and the snares, or so the bass drum and the snare keeping the beat. And the high points of any song is usually going to be either the chorus or the bridge. We're using the chorus here, specifically the last chorus, because I wanted that sense of finality, and the last chorus gives a better sense of that than the first chorus. Especially with the... I'll find it later. Yeah, so that part isn't in the first chorus. And the rising tones here make for a very good triumphant line. I gave that to the horn. It's a little bit high for the horn, but any professional player should be able to play this. I was okay with yellow notes in this one. Because one, I don't know, you have sharp keys. You don't typically want sharp keys for brass. You want flat keys. But the original song is in E, and I was going to stick to the original song, so that's fine. And so here we also give the strings the melody here, as well as support from the piano. And yeah, so that line that we gave to the horn is also doubled by the viola. It does feel a little bit weak on the strings. We could have probably given something else that as well, but I needed the cellos to keep the bass line, so I couldn't give it there. But I also needed something lower than the violins, so I to do this. So it has support from the horn up above, so it works out well enough. And then this bit, the descending line here, is not actually in the original. This happened by accident because when I was trying to remake the chorus for the concert band arrangement, which I should have up here somewhere. All right, so this is the first chorus. There, that bit here. That's where this comes from. It's from the first chorus. And so when I was making the adjustments for the second chorus, I was working off the first chorus and just changing things up. And that part had stayed in during the transition. And it sounded good, so I kept it in. Sometimes when you compose or arrange, things happen by accident, they sound good, so you keep it. A bit of a horn rip here because it is a big jump. One thing that I would consider maybe not doing as much is the piano has a very big role in this track, and sometimes I feel like it's playing a little bit too much. So I might, if I were to do this again, I might consider using a little bit less piano. And so the melody goes to the trumpets here. Although it is doubled by the piano, just a little bit quieter. And also the violas, because I apparently have the brass double with the violas. And then it switches back to piano and strings for the last bit. And then everyone joins in effectively unison, or at least unison in rhythm, for the last phrase there. So that's a bit of a cheap trick you can use sometimes. The unison in rhythm and melody. It gives a sense of togetherness, but also a bit of a sense of finality. No, well, it has a certain effect, and I think the effect works pretty well here. It accents the rhythm because everyone's playing it, right? And in this case, we are going into another transition. So we'll pull that up again. Now, at this point, I was working with constraints because the video was ending. Actually, this section was one that I had requested we put in because originally the video was going to end earlier, but I had this bit that I had to that it was more difficult to pare down. So here we take the ending theme or the ending the ending motif from the song. But we shorten it because we don't have that long. So I took the first part of that and the last part of that and cut out the middle bits. And so then we have a bit of an abridged version. And here is where we exploit the registers of the piano. So if you, so right now that is all the way up here. Let me go in a position where I can actually play this. This piano doesn't even go up that high. So anyway, if you're up in this register here, this is where the emotional register is. Basically, if you play something up this high and you play it slowly, you can make people cry pretty easily. What's the next chord here? So yeah, little another cheap trick there. So yeah, we go up that high. Notice I don't even have any left-handed parts of that because I want to keep it at that register like completely. I have it doubled for the first little bit, just to give it a little bit of a transition from the high energy that we had in the previous parts or the previous section, and just ease off a little bit more, and then chop off the bottom bit and just keep the top bit, and so that we are even more in that register at the end. And then we have the. I was originally going to have just the piano, but it felt wrong to do that without a transition with the string. So I ended up keeping the strings all the way through. Just very simple and very quiet. And also very high. Again, you want to keep it high for that emotional feel there. Now we also have the horn doing this here. And I added this one in because of how ended up when that bit of the music comes in. Entirely coincidence, by the way, that the Jumo crashed at that moment where it comes into transition. So I needed, because there was still a lot of wind sound, I needed a little bit of extra thickness in the sound. And so after the crash, things quiet down, and that's when I'm able to reduce it down, which is also why I got rid of the octaves. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure this is the Jumo actually that we never saw again from HMS Luminary 1. It's not it. This one. Yeah, that was the end of that, I think. Anything more to say about it? Now we have Ino Protocol. This was not my choice. This was by Kazuma, and I think this is a pretty good choice, actually. But yeah, so there was a flight to start with, and then it failed because we couldn't, we lost track of it. So if anyone is in Nevada or wants to go to Nevada, you can go pick up a free Jumo. Apparently, there's someone searching for it, going to see if they want more coordination about it. Ooh, that'll be exciting to see. Because that does have a camera on it, and if we do end up recovering it, it'll be fun to see the shots. But yeah, while I was working on this, I was prototyping in Kden Live just the segments that that were relevant, because I didn't need the rest of the beginning, right? Because we already did that one. And so I was playing around with timing and stuff in here, and seeing how things would play out. And yeah, this is how I realized that I needed to add an extra bit of black here after the end. And I set a magma for them to draw on so we know where they're searched. Yeah, it'll be good to see. And so I suggested that in this black bit we added a happy birthday jelly or something, and we came up with that instead. And I think that worked out pretty well. So yeah, that is HMS Luminary. I'm gonna pull up the link again if you want to go watch that yourself. And then also the soundtrack video, in which you can hear just the music itself, and the downloads for that are in the description. You can download the sheet music, as well as the audio tracks, all separate if you want to go listen to that. And I also have a link to Jelly's reaction to the flight in the description there as well. You want to have a look at that. I think she enjoyed it. Yeah. And some people making comments about the music in the comments for the flight video as well, so that's good to see. Well, all right, moving on. Unless any of you have anything you want to say about the flight, in which case you can go ahead and say that in chat. But otherwise, we'll go ahead and go to the arrangement. Move that over. Also move this one over. I think the only ones we need are these ones, and then I should have another musescore thing somewhere. Not this one. Where is my window list? Okay, apparently oh, no, it's over here. It's over here. Okay. This is the piano arrangement that we're using as a base. So I need to make sure I have that up. And so, as for what we've been doing, and the reason, if you recall, we had done an arrangement stream for this back about a month ago now, before the new year, and it was because I was asked to do music for HMS Luminary. Figured it'd be good to get ahead and flesh out more of the chorus, and it actually ended up being being useful because I did copy and paste a bunch of stuff from here. Now, as you may recall, previously we didn't have. I said we probably wouldn't use the snare drum. Turns out after the stream, I came up with a good one, which is what you ended up hearing in HMS Luminary 2, because I lifted it from here. The triangle line I also lifted from here and put it into HMS Luminary. But yeah, we'll have listened to this. Make it so that you can see it. Whole page. Here we go. Stop. Need to make sure that nothing's selected. So yeah, this is as of, what is this, part 3? So I think we've had 2 streams previously. Something like that. So yeah, there's that. Admittedly, after hearing and working on Hello World, which is the last track there, uh, this feels a little bit less exciting. But I'm sure it's still going to be good. Also, I do have to fix. If you notice here, so I haven't been looking in this view. That goes off the page. It can't be having that. So we're gonna fix that at some point. Which now we're actually going to go into the territory of Hello World, because this is what that covers. The pre-core or the bridge-ish. Is this bridge? Second verse, something like that. Bring that up again. Actually, we can do it here. Should be down here somewhere. Okay. So I don't know how much of that we're gonna get through, but that's the part we're working on. And we might actually end a little bit earlier today, because there is something I have to do before tomorrow. It's due tomorrow, and I don't have a whole lot of time tomorrow, so I got to make sure I get that. I might end up staying up quite a bit tonight. Okay, yeah, so we have that. And this is convenient because I will actually be taking things from Flight of the HMS Luminary. So it's funny how this takes things from the concert band arrangement. Now we're taking things back. So where are we? I think this one. Sorry to maybe put that on the saxophones. Let's see where this works best. Because I was on the trumpet, but actually maybe the trumpet, because we have the alto saxophone taking that melody to begin with. So it kind of makes sense to have it on trumpet. Oh, but the way that I was doing this, the xylophone should take this first, because everything should be playable with just the percussion. At least that's one of the goals of this arrangement here. So we're gonna give that to the xylophone first. I'm gonna find where I put this. It's gonna be this bit here. No, I think I might just copy that wholesale, actually. Okay, I need to put this in a way. Okay, it should be okay that way. So outside and outside, and then this takes that. I'm gonna add rolls in places. Maybe here. Definitely one here. And then one there. Maybe have a little bit of space there. And then maybe make this tie to that so we can roll this. But this is only 2 strokes because we already have the flag. Really switch that up. Maybe that gets that one. What does the actual song sound like? Okay, so it is just the one note then. I'm inclined to do this anyway, though. And then we have a roll here. And then now we just take this, and the xylophone is going over time here. This one obviously takes a roll. Let's figure out what happens after that. Does this one get a roll? That one gets a roll. Yeah, this one gets a roll. And nope. Maybe this gets a roll. I don't know, something you just have to try. I'm not sure. Maybe just the first half. Maybe the first half here. This one. You want to put rolls on notes that last long. But not too much. And there has to be at least one roll here, I feel, but I don't know which one it is. Other than that last one. Well, I'm gonna leave that alone for now. We can add a roll later. We gotta fill out the... I think here is actually where we're gonna take from the HMS Luminary instead. Oh, actually, there was one thing I failed to mention here. Whereas the first part here is actually in the Golden Road progression, and this part normally would be in the real song too. I switched this over to the chords of Calling Alice, which is my improv of Luminary, and that uses the four chords progression. Um, that the overused one, because I felt it was a little bit more final, a little bit more resolving, which adds to the gravity of the song, of the music. I guess that's the way I'm going to describe it. Makes it sound a little bit more final. Because if you resolve, if your last chord is going to be the tonic, the E major, then it's going to sound very good, very... I'm gonna use the same words again. Very resolved, very final. Like there's nothing left, which is kind of what you want for that. So we can take the chords from here, though. Now listen to that. Oh. That's what I mean by a good foundation in the bass. Now imagine being in the room when that's playing. By the way, this is all playable. If anyone wants to commission a partial orchestra, you could do it. The only thing is the percussionist, I think, would have to summon the players here. So whoever is playing the pan flute, which is probably going to end up being a keyboard anyway, because who has a pan flute? And glass harmonica is also probably going to be a glass synthesizer. Then you have the Mark III. So you have the three instruments here: the pan flute, the glass harmonica, and the Mark III. Or oh yeah, and the synthesizer. The Mark III is whatever. Like one person or multiple, somebody playing another instrument could easily do that one. But yeah, the synthesizer here for the couple of notes here. They would all switch to the auxiliary percussion, or rather the drums and cymbals. So, however they would want to allocate that. One of the things I had in mind here was that it should be potentially playable, as I do with all my other pieces. So, it is available as an option. But yeah, we were working on the chords for this one. So actually, this one, they're all octaves. And that's another way to make a very open sound. Very... I don't know if I necessarily say strong foundation here. This is A, E... Actually, no, this is all octaves and fifths. No, wait, no, this is a C sharp? Oh, this is an entire chord, never mind. This is a full chord. So yeah, this is pretty full in that case. Yeah, actually a strong foundation here. Because you have the A, the E, and C sharp, and the A there. So that's what you're looking at there. Spanning like 2 octaves. And then you have the piano. I mean, this piano, this keyboard that I have doesn't go low enough. But you also have another A down at the below this one. So you get 3 octaves. Very full. But we're gonna use that over on... I don't know. The marimba's been the one that has been our chord keeper effectively. Oh yeah, I also added some claves. I don't remember if I added that before or during last stream or if it was afterwards. It's effectively just doing that. Did the chords... did I change the chords? I feel like I might have changed the chords in HMS Luminary. Because that doesn't match up. This is an A. Or... B flat? Oh, right, because I moved it up. Right, yeah, no, that makes sense. Because HMS Luminary is in its original key, but this constant band arrangement is one semitone higher at F major. So that actually does make sense. So yeah, this is then B flat, which would translate to A in this one. Which means if we copy anything from HMS Luminary, we're going to have to transpose it down. Not a big problem. It's all the same chord, so I can just copy the marimba part from elsewhere. You generally don't want to be giving instruments the same thing over and over again because it's kind of boring to play. But also, it's also something very easy to do. Okay, well, we're gonna take this. Oh, we're just gonna change up the rhythm a little bit. I kind of want to keep this rhythm though. Or at least for that bit. Oh, you know what might be fun? We do this. This is F and B. No, this doesn't seem good. Worth a shot. Could work. And it goes up one. I think I want this reverse. So I want this over here. And then this over here. And then we fill in that back in there. And then this back in here. Then we copy this. Put it into here. And then move it up by one whole tone. Is it supposed to be like that? Shouldn't be. What is this? This is C. That's a C. Hold up. That's not correct. This is a C. This is also a C. Hmm? Okay, something's not adding up here. Because it should be this. I'm going to take this, and then we're just going to do this from scratch. I don't understand. Isn't that... Oh, yeah, oh no, that kind of makes sense. Sort of. And then it's the same thing here. Whereas, I mean, I don't think that's actually what that has here. Only I was proficient with chords. Okay, what did I end up doing here then? Because I must have had to figure this out here as well. That's what I did. I mean, I guess I followed this. So this is the same chord, which clearly isn't because you moved up by one. And then this moved up by one as well. Okay. I mean, I could just completely ignore it and just do the same thing again. That's not what this says, though. And we do actually have this here. So this is going to be an E flat over here. E, B, D. And then resolves back to B flat. Results would be flat. Hold up, what? Is that correct? sure. That means going all the way over here, and that doesn't seem right either. Okay. We're gonna do this ourselves. BF. Then we have a F and then a B. Does that work? BDF. Oh, this can go to a D then in that case. This can go to the F. And then we have so we have a D and we have an F. And then I'm missing a B, which is this, and then we can go to a you sure? No, that does not seem right. It has to be. I don't think I can invert this in that case. Because this has to be in BDF in some form. But I do need to make sure the B is there. All the way up there? I mean, I guess. I don't like the look of this, but if that's what it takes, I guess that's what it takes. Okay. Okay, so I think we actually do have to follow things here. So this is that. Means this gets that, but up. I am now confusing myself. What chord is this? So this is C sharp, which means this would be a D. Sure. Okay. I'm gonna start from here. I don't have enough space here. Or maybe I can't. Maybe I do actually have to have this as this. Why does this sound so early? Even though it isn't. Now, is it because I did that? Now, I want to do something. So we're gonna move on a little bit. We're gonna do something that I did with HMS Luminary for this bit. I want to make sure that the instruments have a bit of a call and response. And then go back to unison here. So we're gonna put this on one instrument, you're gonna put this on another instrument, and then put this on both. Do we put this on, no, I don't know, the vibraphone? And then we can put this on the glockenspiel. Feels like it's a little bit too samey because we have both metallophones here. No. Feels like it should be maybe here. And then we get the metallophones doing that bit there. Then we can maybe have this be on the marimba as well. Just maybe a little bit thicker, using all four mallets. Well, we'll arrange that later. I think the vibraphone is going to have to harmonize, actually. So one thing that I learned while doing HMS Luminary is you can almost pretty easily harmonize by just taking this a third lower. I don't know if it works all the time, but it did work for HMS Luminary. That's not what I wanted. Hold up. Because it's not a third. Go down one more. It's not quite what I want either. But I think perhaps it depends on where, what notes we're starting on. I mean, that doesn't sound too bad, but it's not the sound that I'm looking for. Okay, trying to figure out what chord this is. This is gonna be a D. So if we have a D, F, A, we'll bring this down to the D. And bring that down to an A, which will actually end up with the same thing anyway. All right, or pretty similar to it. And now we actually ended up with just the same thing, a third lower. Unbelievable. I don't think it sounds right though. What if we just turn these all into D's then? Now this, you generally want to avoid that because you have them a second apart, but I don't know, if they're an octave, or if they're about an octave apart, then it's less of an issue. But also, it kind of doesn't sound right, so maybe not. What if I put this up a third instead? No, no. Okay, so fifth. Fifth should be fairly safe. Except, then you end up with parallel fifths, and you don't want that. Actually, so the reason why they say don't have parallel fifths moving is because then it sounds like almost a single voice. In which case, I think that might be something that we do want to have. Because we're not looking for separate voices here. We're looking at making these two basically the same. Ah, but that doesn't sound right either. We can at least fill this in, because I know we're going to be doing that. Now here we have the harmonization for us. Let me just copy that. So I don't mind using that wholesale. Although this one, I think I might want to do... I think I might want to do octaves for this one. So I'm going to get rid of the top notes, because the bottom notes are the ones that are actually the melody here. Except for that last one, which is actually this one. So we're going to octave that. Then we're going to do the same thing on... here, I guess. And also here. Something like that. I feel like I've been awake for too long tonight. Today. Might be good to take a nap before I start working again. And then hopefully I actually wake up. Okay. Let's have a listen to what I have here. Right, I actually have very full chords over here. So I did end up following what the original arrangement had, or the original piano transcription had. Because I started with octaves. I started with octaves, filled in the fifth here, and then I don't remember how I arrived at this. I could follow this. I know I didn't like the harmonization, at least for that use case there. I didn't like the harmonization given by the piano transcription. This is going to take tremolo or roll. Roll all the way. And then you take rolls there too. If only they weren't so harsh. I know that's just a rendering problem, but considering that we're making this primarily so that we render correctly, because it's not like we have anyone to play this with, so. I think it makes sense to extend this. At least there. That takes a double, this takes a triple. And then we can decrescendo this bit. It doesn't even decrescendo. Thanks, musescore. And then you have this. Don't look away. Which I think I might actually move to the triangle solo like we have here. Possibly. Or I don't know, I might this one's kind of nice. I don't know. I feel like there needs to be another bar or something here. This is... Did I copy this wrong? I must have. But also it doesn't look like it. So what's different? Okay, well, so that's that. Right? Why am I oh, because I actually am short one. Why is this short one? 3-4. This should be 4-4. What happened? Oh, weird. There we go. That's much better. Now where to put this on the woodwinds or the brass? I can try putting it on the saxophone. Maybe I originally heard this on the saxophone. And copy that. Actually make it so that it's on the right beat. Maybe this is a tenor sax thing. I don't mind this being on the tenor sax. And then this can be, the next bit can be on the alto. Get the bottom notes. Get this, get that. So one thing that's going to be different about this compared to HMS Luminary is it's I feel like this arrangement is going to be a lot more sax based. Going to feature a lot more saxophone. I mean, apart from the fact that there was no saxophone in HMS Luminary. We're gonna let that do that. But I also feel like this can be doubled on the trumpet, maybe? No. What I'm gonna do is gonna put this on the trumpet. Do that instead. Maybe that should be on the horn. I don't know. Cause what did I do here? Well, I had them both come in. Whoa. I don't know what to do with this. I mean, I can take the harmonization here. Uh which, unlike the piano arrangements, this is a third lower instead of a third higher, which might actually end up clashing with this. But we'll see. Then move it up a semitone because that's what everything is. I don't think this fits in this one though. I can give this maybe to the sax. Maybe. What if we take this and give it to the sax? And get rid of the... No, that's not what I wanted. Give us a top note. And get rid of the tremolos. It's the same thing. Just different harmonization. I don't know which one's better. Now I can have it so that the tenor sax plays that. Actually, I can have it so that the trumpet plays that. I mean, there it is. It could work. OBS. Okay, I'm gonna assume things are okay. OBS just momentarily disconnected, and then YouTube is now telling me that I have better bandwidth. I have no idea what's going on here. I copied the wrong thing. It should be this one. This doesn't make any sense. I guess it does. Okay. Okay, and then if I do this, copy this, put this on the sax, so this is the third lower. Wait, then what's this? You know why it's the same? Because it is the same. I did actually just take the harmonization from here and then put it down by one. Is that what I did? This is a C, this is a... Oh. It's because I'm in concert pitch. Or I'm not in concert pitch. That makes a whole lot more sense. Yeah, so I just took the harmonization there, put the harmony down an octave. That's why it's all the same. Because it is the same. Okay. Alright. So what if I double the melody? I need to double the melody somewhere. I don't know about this. What if I put this on the tenor sax? I can't do this because I need, if I'm going to be bouncing between instruments on this part, I need something to contrast it with. And if I use all of my good melodic instruments here, there's nothing left for me to bounce off of. So one of these is going to have to go. It's probably the sax. The flutes can support this. I can push those, put it up to the flutes, maybe. Maybe both of these. Up an octave. Although typically you might want to support the trumpets with the clarinet because they tend to sound a little bit closer. I mean, that could work. I put this on clarinets instead. But down an octave because clarinets. I kind of prefer it on the flute, but also I need room to expand later. Okay, I'm going to put this on the clarinet. I'm going to double both of them. And then we can have a bunch of instruments going along there. Ah, man. I feel like I'm gonna end up scrapping this next next stream. This is not quite turning out. And this here reminds me a bit too much of HMS Luminary. I don't want that. Which, I mean, understandable, because I did do something similar there. Right? I did do this. But we had different feels. This is not the feel I'm going for in this arrangement. I'm going for something a little bit lighter than that here. You know what? I think this is probably a good place to call it at the moment, because I'm not getting anywhere. Also, I'm feeling a bit tired, and I do have something I need to finish before tomorrow, so I can't go for too long. Okay, we're gonna have a listen to what we have so far, and then we're gonna call it there for now. Can't really see this. View. Where is the zoom again? Because I mean, I got rid of the zoom toolbars down there. Oh well, whatever. Should be fine. So Luminary concert band arrangement as a 3 streams. And there we have it. That's what we have so far. It is at the point where everything I hear is starting to sound bad. Which means, I don't know, maybe tomorrow it'll sound better. Because sometimes it does that. I'm probably gonna take a break from this one for a while. Because we did have the other original that we were working on. I haven't touched that in a couple months. Uh what else do we have? Yeah, probably something else. Which I still don't have a name for. I feel like I'm almost there for a name. But not quite there yet. I'm sure we'll come up with something. But today is Friday. That brings us to the end of the week. Expect a music release next week on Wednesday or TBD. Or rather, I'm gonna finalize the date, but I think it's gonna be Wednesday. So I won't be streaming on Wednesday, but we'll have something there. Uh, yeah. Otherwise, you should watch over the schedule. It's gonna be posted on social media as well as Discord. If you're not already in the Discord, you can go ahead and join there. We have a channel for music making and a bunch of other ones. If you'd like to see more VTubers who do sheet music like I do, some of them transcription, some of them arranging, some of them uh, composing, you can check out the Sheet Music VTuber Collective Discord. It's open to anyone who is interested, or viewers as well as VTubers as well. We got a bunch of VTubers in there who are who do this kind of thing, and so yeah, if that's something interesting, go check that out. And then once again, I'll plug the HMS Luminary flights. Done a lot of plugging for this one. It was quite an accomplishment. So pretty proud of pretty proud of the team for having gotten that done. Of course, I like the music for it too, and not just because I wrote it. Okay, I think that's it. There's a chance that I won't raid into anywhere because I don't really feel up for it, but I'll have a look. I'll have an earnest look, and we'll see. Proud of everyone too. Yeah, yeah. And thanks for organizing, by the way. I know it takes a lot to poke everyone, make sure everything gets their stuff done, and do so for several other projects too. So hats off to you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I think that's probably it. Watch out for music release next week. And then yeah, Twitch will find somebody to raid. Maybe there's a chance I won't, but if I find someone, we'll do that. YouTube, as usual, if the person I find is dual streaming, I will also manually direct you there. But anytime, thanks for enjoying. Thanks for coming. I hope you enjoyed listening to this. And yeah, we'll leave it there. And good night. Bye, chat. Okay, I think we will raid someone, but I might end up raiding a run because I am way too tired. We're going to go visit Ron's Rogue. YouTube, unfortunately, is not streaming on YouTube, so I will say goodnight to you this time. Twitch. He looks to be doing some sort of vocal tuning at the moment, so it might be some sort of cover, it might be some sort of vocal arrangement of some sort. Yeah, not sure what this is, but enjoy the music. If you'd like to participate in the raid, there is a raid message. You go ahead, copy that, and paste it there. I've never seen Ron's Rogue before, so we'll see. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it. We'll leave it there. Enjoy the music, and yeah, good night. Bye.